I suck at communication. And obviously communication is basically the backbone to any relationship you can have with anyone. And so sucking at communication can be very detrimental to a lot of things. And communication is important because if you don't communicate with someone you care about, how will they ever know how you're feeling or if they're doing anything that hurts you, uh, and they don't know, like they're unintentionally hurting you. Communication is just overall very important, and I just found myself being very bad at it. And with communication, it's not that I don't want to. Like I have the will to communicate. It's just in the back of my mind, there's always this thing telling me like, "Oh, don't do this because what if it ruins everything, or what if it makes the other person not like you anymore, and things like that." And that's just always been in the back of my head, which makes me not want to communicate. Now I've always wanted to pinpoint like why am I like this? Because communication is just so important, and for me like to not be able
Many
to just
insects
it
have a
just hurts
compulsion to
everything.
follow the light.
And I think
We
I
humans
finally
are the same,
pinpointed what has made me like
except we
this,
call that
and
light
it dates
home.
back to my first relationship, where that was my first relationship. So I was new to the whole love thing, and I would just communicate naturally because I thought, I always learned if you feel some type of way, you should tell the person. So that's what I did, and she always made it seem like when I did that, it was an issue. Like she hated when I talked about how she made me feel, and we would start problems. She would ignore me and things like that. And I think that's is really what stemmed this lack of communication on my end, because I'm always scared that that's gonna happen again.
The
But
adeptus arts are most
with that
miraculous,
fear,
but unless one first cultivates the mind
with that
before
fear also
cultivating these arts,
comes
all their feats will be like the
like
moon's reflection on water,
a realization where
showers
I'm like,
past
damn, I
love's
really need
touch.
to actually lock in on this because it could ruin future relationships because I'm focused on how a past one affected me. And I'm already a person who's doesn't like dwelling in the past or likes focusing on the past, but this is just I don't know, the way that it affected me just overall hurt me because since obviously since then my communication has never been the same. I've never been the same person in general. Like I'm not in tune with my feelings. I'm always just letting stuff slide. I'm always kind of a it is what it is type of person, and that's just not who I want to be anymore. And so I feel like me talking about this and accepting like that's where it stems from and that's what it is the first step in me really improving on it. Because if I don't know what caused it, if I don't know what it is, I would just be swinging blind at what or what can help me fix it. And so with that, I honestly am just gonna try to work on it because this is my self improvement journey. So
A brash maneuver.
on this, my bad, I'm getting distracted by the game. But yeah, this is my self improvement journey, and all of these things I would like to improve on and would like to try to get better at for myself and for the people around me. Because, like I said, communication it can affect almost every relationship you have with anyone. If you don't have communication, do you truly have a relationship with someone? And I know it's a lot of people who actually struggle with communication because I don't know how I'm talking about it makes it seem easy, but this is not the easiest thing in the world. Telling someone how you feel, no matter the concept, like telling someone how you feel is always going to be hard because you don't know what they're going to say, how they're going to feel, or if they really care. And you also don't know the outcomes of that conversation happening because some people, when you communicate with them, they don't know how to take it. They take it more as criticism. So they start distancing themselves and like, oh, okay, well, if you feel that way, maybe you shouldn't be with me. And that's just the fear that comes with being a communicator. But it also gets to a point where you just kind of have to sit and we just have to sit and accept and be like, if they feel that way about me communicating with them, then maybe I shouldn't have a relationship with them in the first place. Because if they don't care how I feel, then what's the point of me being here? And that's kind of the mindset you have to eventually have. And like I said, it's not the easiest thing in the world because, like I said, communication is hard. One of the hardest things to master. But if you really put in the work and the effort, and you truly feel for someone, I feel like it becomes easy later on. And that's what I'm gonna try to work on, because obviously my current relationship, we're on a break, but I sucked at communication. And she always tried to get me to communicate, and I would always like lie and be like, no, I'm good, nothing happened. And I feel like that was definitely an issue in our relationship. So I'm glad that I'm finally realizing something like this and actually working on it, because I was tired of lying to myself and tired of lying to her. So it's about time that I finish working on this and finish working on myself. But that's honestly all I have to say about it. You know, communication is important, long story short. And yeah, I mean, it's not really much to it. Mainly made this video because I was going through a very hard time today, and I pinpointed it to just never talking about. It's a bunch of stuff deep down that I never talked about, and that's really affecting me, and that's what I really pinpointed it to. Like, dang, all this stuff is just coming all at me at once when I woke up, and then it just didn't stop. So I mean, it feels good to get it out though. I feel a lot better, and hopefully I now
As a jeweler cherishes
will be able to move forward and truly.
the whole world shares the
My bad, I suck at talking, but hopefully now I'll be able to move forward and truly improve myself for the better in this aspect, so that any future relationships I do have with people will go a lot better, and hopefully I can be more in tune with my emotions and not just be a robot or a wall. But that's all I have, honestly, and yeah.